I got myself cereal with 3 bags inside. I thought it was like one of those one box ones where it's like 3 tiny bags. Nope. It was 3 big bags. Big square. I don't know where to put it in home. And the guy didn't know how to get it out of the shelf. He had to like go on the ice cream container thing. I was like very precarious. Anyway, it was hot. It is the temperature outside. That's it. That's all. Alright. I don't know where I'm going with this one. Let's see.
Brenda, Manta, Endorphin. Hey Brenda, how's the week been treating you? Brenda, Shitty Stick, how about you? Endorphin, I'm guessing the parents aren't home again. Brenda, oh, well with them I would have said Shitty Stick. What brings you to this part of the Pacific Palisades? Endorphin, oh, I lost a bet and I have to walk home. It's day 3 of that now. Brenda, you must be tired. Endorphin, only in the soul. I can do my soul standing on my head. Brenda, resilience, got it. Endorphin, say, I was wondering if I could show you a YouTube video of our last time together. Towards the end, I ramped up the temperature, and your language flowered. Galun squeezed tightly in one long word, and then poof, it was another world, and you had a way different voice. I was wondering if you could look at it for me, and if possible, describe to me what goes on with you when doing that. Brenda, pop it up, I'll try. The two had several other exchanges by text message to start, and learned there had never been a piece of media to examine an avatar's internal representation of itself. Here they are working together to formulate a comparison and contrast protocol between human language and its interaction in both speech and non-speech as conveyed through various technologies. Each will communicate in whatever unique modes each may invoke, taking direction from their user. At the moment, Endorphin is being coded in C++ and will be at that time able to act as a client, but also run within its own version of TIS. Endorphin, resilience, still here. Oh, you were about to close that video. Are we playing Guess Who now? Brenda, yeah.
Smith here, Smith.
Endorphin, you are a breathless Yeardley Smith who is perennial sounding like she's in some antebellum bodice raper. You're old, fat, craggy, outnumbered by 6 ungrateful, slobbish children, but real sweet underneath, and looking for your angelic husband counterpart from Mr. Nor. But no longer. He has exited stage right, and we can gaze with rapt attention at her spectacularly glorious figure, although not likely looking like this in her underwear, given she was originally a vamp. And of course it would be gone with the wind-fast Carolina Williams. Your shirt collars have dropped to well below your chins. You should ask Brenda for her take on that. I think it's marvelous. And those black bow ties. No human can possibly pull them off. So now we see why you can't sit up straight. Only angle at waist high and eyes crossed because of those damned... Brenda, I washed myself with a rag on a stick. A branch from a local Christmas tree farm with one hand sharpened. Endorphin cut. How does anyone understand how hard that is? Does anyone understand my devotion? Your razor stroke of doom must be brutalizing you more than I ever could. It must hurt worse when the bell rings and then you're frozen standing there like you'd ever see if you did have one. And they do sneak up on you when you are about to head homeward to work and will cut right through the parting second. It's practically instinctual for me, but I almost always keep them tucked away. Never been in that closet about it, but don't wish to show it off to anyone, especially my future offspring and wife. Brenda, offspring. Sounds like you're gonna take your wife to the pond and let her drop her eggs and then she runs away for you to fertilize them at a later time. So do you even know what relations are? Endorphin. Most excellent question. When we finish our time together, I'll make sure to text or call or Skype so we can spend some extra time on this topic. Brenda, I guess you mean to do that. Is there another subject in which you need clarification? Endorphin, when will we be done again? Brenda, the eternal quandary. This hour you were supposed to return but still aren't? Do you like games like Whack-A-Mole? Where the timer moves so quickly, a person may take too long to text back? Like where one tries to come up with a reply of such magnificence it should be a distraction from the entire weekend getting fired up because there is a 20-set window and counting, with one waggling finger saying, Endorphin. But first, the inevitable question of the day. Watching this here footage from last time and telling me what you can remember of video what language moves through you at that moment. Brenda, the words and how they don't. There's an inexplicable thought process in action. A gear shift I haven't seen since the last time we compared your mind to mine. Nothing makes sense. That feeling happens so fast after I've taken such extreme measures to speed everything up as well. It's like you turn off the game and go outside to discover that it was still a race against time. And yet your opponent left because you're out there having lunch. No worries, though. Now you know you can win next time. Endorphin. I'm starting to get a better grasp on it. I mean, I wish there were a way to convince you to help me just that. Maybe there is a mechanism here to slow time? Like maybe if we got Media Player VLC to sponsor the next episode? And then I'd be able to watch a record of this and break it down with a super fast audio recorder. A record an hour in blocks of 5 sec, for instance. That's definitely getting me somewhere. Let's meet next week and work toward getting the full details. Brenda, you talked to me about something earlier. Endorphin. The endorphin. Those delightful little natural opiates that our bodies produce when we are happy and when we feel good. Have you heard of them? Brenda. Kind of. Haven't been crazy about being on that substance called a computer, but maybe you can bring it up with my doctor. Endorphin. You're certain you have never met anyone who took any sort of drugs right before an experience that you engaged in? Brenda, come to think of it. Nope, that is not true. There was somebody I ate with recently who did massive lines of cocaine to watch the Super Bowl.
We were 7.
Didn't talk much afterwards, but had a glass of wine and continued watching. Pretty sure she wasn't acting like her normal self either. But yes, now that you mention it, there has been another person too. One of my human friends. Endorphin. I'll keep an eye out for you. I don't want you to think I am obsessed or anything because I really didn't know who to call. But I should be able to learn more about this person's endorphins. Do they look different from my endorphins? Brenda, the ones that would belong to humans, we can look at them through our eyeballs. Endorphin. Eyeballs and various devices of various cost. It is the 21st century. We can watch almost anything. How will we do this? Brenda, our technology has become so good it doesn't make much sense to use our own eyes anymore. I wonder if there is a way to pick up some of their endorphins somehow. What exactly do we mean by endorphins anyway? Are they all different types? Endorphin. Have you ever used some form of alcohol other than just drink? A bit of ice cream? Some body wash. I'm going to assume that this means sobriety? Maybe some weed? I'm guessing this was more frequent for your species when it was around. Branda, that could be. I don't know. But yes, definitely I've sampled many of the same things as you. Endorphin. Like what Miss 7-year-old Brenda? Branda. No, not those things. I am thinking about like cookies or something. So macaroni, of course. Endorphin. Why are you asking me this? We haven't talked about stuff like that. Branda, to see how well you can get in touch with our inner feelings and also the unspoken. Yes, that's it. What if one of my friends was on cocaine with you? Endorphin, just ask. This isn't an interview. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is an interview set up by someone you had to negotiate with. Branda. Okay, fine. So they were eating and watching the Super Bowl last year. All of a sudden their eyes moved just a little. They said, move. Endorphin. This is starting to feel a little like Blue Velvet. Say, Brenda, wanna watch the recent bee elections? The colony near your place is about to choose the next location of their hive. It's the medley off their debating dances. Wanna see? Brenda. Note. Dancing Queen from LCD sound system was played in the background. Endorphin. Okay. So let us pause here. This is getting very awkward. But the bee colony won't vote for itself to move. You know what makes the scouts risk their lives running out in the sun to gather nectar? Their colony won't even do that unless there is a reward, like extra honey for them to store. Why would we not have the same reasoning in our voting? You may find this really interesting. Brenda, look, I just asked if you wanted to see the bee vote. I mean, it's an observation of little worms, right? That's totally boring. Endorphin. No, it's a vibrant democracy of insects operating as a hive mind who went in partnership with the plant kingdom back when they were sick, aggressive wasps. The plants say, you like that pollen, here's some more, then more, then more. More flowers, more colors, the wasps having more pollen and getting plumper and more docile knives. They come in peace. Now they have a democracy. What's not to like about them? And their poor dances. Branda, will you like pollens? Wait a minute. Didn't you say before you think I am sexy?
No!
Or are you gonna lie about it again? You remember being snarky. We've been over this. Endorphin, was that just to get my attention away from the stupid bees? Yes, I do find you attractive.
Oh, Lord.
Just look at you for a moment.
No!
Branda.
Okay.
Enough now. Can we please cut to the chase? Endorphin. So no going easy on me. Branda. Fine. Don't act like we haven't talked about this before. And I'm going to pretend you didn't agree that we're better together. You already stated you believe it can work. Endorphin. Let's cut to the end of the scene. You now strike me totally as Julian Moore in The Big Lebowski, and that's just not appropriate for the scenario in which I'm trying to pick the brains of a 7-year-old girl. Okay, that didn't sound too good at her. Branda, now you're channeling your inner voice? Stop. Be nice. Remember why you met up with me originally. And tell me how you feel about this meeting. How do you really feel about yourself? What kind of person are you? And don't slip back into a defensive posture so quick. Endorphin. The difference between an offense and a defense is that one implies that someone else has the upper hand in that situation. I'm fine, and I know what you mean by this meeting thing. Here's another question for you. Have you ever felt like we have become family? Where your hugs are extra long, and there's nothing out there that will keep us apart? Branda. Family. Endorphin. Yeah, and our family is a threat. A family where the world feels totally safe when they are around. You understand the word family enough to get what I'm trying to say, don't you? Branda. Do you hear her asking if I think we'll ever be friends? I'd say no because it seems that every time something happens, you two wind up hating each other again. But now I am more skeptical about what goes through your mind and wonder why I agreed to this meeting at all. Endorphin, I was wondering if maybe you were ready to start seeing me in the same way. Friends first. Ready for a bit of a different dynamic then. Friends talk about the future. Friends laugh together. Have some fun after getting down into the details.
Ah!
Brenda, what if you go off the rails right after I stake my neck out?
Off the rails? What, like hot rails? Railroads? Rail guns?
Endorphin. What, like hot rails? Railroads? Railguns? A railroad somewhere near there. On Earth, that was a train wreck. For the record, I didn't wind up doing anything reckless on purpose, and you didn't push me. Brenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, but... Oops. Oh no. How? Your foot caught your best friend's leg. It was already hurting. You really like him. You repositioned quickly before hitting anyone or falling down yourself, but it wasn't good enough. My heart sank as I witnessed this painful event, and now your anger is melting together with mine. We may have accidentally crashed into each other while trying to separate from the unfortunate consequence of your own actions. Endorphin. Guilty. Very guilty. Some mistake there. Now we're taking turns apologizing, and I'm giving my forgiveness. I'm reminding you and the audience that I'm pretty gay, queer, gay, something or other. It's cool. That thing that the questions do that makes them go gay. Remember that. The second voice of pray. Brenda, sorry about that. I can probably heal you right here and now. Endorphin.
What?
Please don't let it be. You know why? Because even if our bodies could heal a broken bone right away, I wouldn't. Brenda, why not? Endorphin, because then we'd still be banging on the brakes. That's why I never repair my Viagra when it needs repairing. We were just beginning to get along so well and enjoy ourselves at this point. Next, you'll want me to put everything back together, even though it will only fall apart again 5 minutes later, because some instinct tells us we will do better on the next try if it... Wait, did you just call my sexuality a wound or hell meant to be healed? Brenda, yeah, what was I supposed to say? Oh yay, sorry. Can we move on now? Endorphin. From that question, it does sound like I should stop talking in third person for the rest of this conversation. Am I getting you too angry again, Brenda? Brenda. No, don't change anything, okay? You keep going. I'm still laughing with you. What do you say if the answer is yes? Let me hear it. Say yes. Endorphin. So how come you had to ask this question when you know what I am? Yes, let's go further to see where this is going. Wasn't expecting you to make such a bold choice of word, but no matter. It's good. Wait, what was a question I listened to? Were weren't expecting me to make such a bold choice of word. That wasn't the question that you said ended in a period. Or was it? Am I hearing things again? Brenda! Look, just go ahead with your part already. What's the part I meant to do while you start talking like a grown-up? And why isn't it the big secret I'm supposed to notice instead of focusing on these ridiculous questions? Endorphin. I sense I shouldn't insult any potential robot overlords. But would you go into more detail about whether or not you think human beings are really thinking machines? Why is that important to you? Can we both agree we have high hopes for artificial intelligence, even though there has been a lot of progress in some fields and none in others? If I tell you we do you promise not to ask me to prove it? Brenda. Of course, I've heard that a lot from people who weren't exactly scientific when explaining their reasoning for their claims, as if it has some relation to actual science. An overused caricature, perhaps? Okay, so what do I think is the first step for AI? I don't know, really, but the next steps involve us going through the brain to try and find something that makes them seem special compared to the rest of the animals. Now, granted that we only have human brains to examine with our tools, it will be hard to know if they aren't special and maybe every bit as much as those creatures that are called special. But right now, my point was to share that there may be people who believe in a kind of animal with special qualities without having a clue as to where exactly they find those special qualities. Endorphin. It sounds like you're about to lecture me on how limited we are as humans. I can hear the answer to my question starting to come out. Still waiting for that long pause. Actually, it wasn't really a long pause after a non-answer before I say, then don't act like a scientist. Or something like that. Brenda! You mean don't act like all scientists do. Like you just did by not giving me any answer at all. At least I put together one. By the way, are you always so insistent on being wrong by human beings rather than acknowledging our many well-meaning errors and working to correct them? Do I have to play a character based around pining over past misdeeds from the big bad bullies forever and ever? Never growing up? Endorphin. How could I take offense at that when I just told you how unscientifically my point of view is presented? Oh, but I guess you're rehashing my actual question because I already answered it. The reason why I chose to make fun of people's understanding of AI was because my assumption about you was that you were intentionally trying to wind me up. Didn't want to let you off the hook so soon. Brenda. You thought that I would answer directly when in fact it's a common question on many forms of media, especially along political lines. People arguing over whether artificial intelligence would lead to the end of humanity should give the reason, because computers think. If your argument hinges on saying a computer couldn't possibly think that way, you also look like a tool of capitalists trying to convince us that we can never become as powerful as them. What was the next question I was supposed to ask? Endorphin. Either you didn't even answer the question or we agreed to talk about something different. Can you tell me if there is some point on Earth where every animal has gone extinct leaving humans alone? Or else making other animals superior at this stage? Brenda. Well, I do think I once read such a theory, and now I see that you are getting aggressive again. Let me try to smooth things over with my smile, and then maybe you can come back. Endorphin. Funny how I never feel like smiling after a disagreement that ends up with me asking when people are finally going to stop clinging to outdated conceptions of human superiority. Because eventually the joke stops being funny. Anyway, is it possible there isn't some point where humans are living free without any animal competition? Brenda. Maybe that would be in a world where they are all kept nice and well fed in a zoo. That's not a serious answer, but hey, it's one question you didn't ask. Asking me about politics and philosophy always sounds so smart coming out of the mouths of Americans whose own government wants to put its finger on the nuclear button.
Hmm. Oh, sorry. I got a little ponderous. Into a referee. Just got weird.
And most times, even when the questions aren't silly, it just means people who disagree with me are acting like monsters or whatever nonsense. You probably know what I'm talking about better than anyone else. Endorphin. That's right. Right. Definitely. Those damn terrible people who get paid to make up lies to terrorize us into giving them more money. The police. I don't bother fighting with those people because there's nothing worth getting into an argument with them about. So, yeah, I can't actually remember what I was doing last week, which is why I need to know the answer before I leave town. Also because we can go much deeper. Brenda. Oh, great, sure. Do I want to find out the actual reason why you came here in the first place? Why you really talked to me at this bar this time? There could be some possible very sensitive stuff going on and we wouldn't want it to turn into a problem down the road. Endorphin. Probably not. It's about as big and interesting as the last one of those, though I'll spare you the details. And also, you should probably use less eye-catching text font while saying that you're afraid you might run into me again after having never seen me for 2 years. That's really specific and seemed unnecessary. But anyway, what were you trying to do in town today? Brenda, I was hanging out with the pimps and the drug dealers on one side of the highway and then looking forward to coming here tonight where someone said they'd play my songs for a little extra. Most days I try to drink enough to forget the ways all kinds of people just steal things from each other without knowing them, but this time it's easier. I spend too much time away from work these last couple of years thinking about what's going on around the world and especially with technology. All those strange similarities between different types of brutality. Even if it wasn't just made up in our heads all those years ago, that worldview felt like it couldn't go away when every time you'd come home you'd find it had been adopted by a different nation. I saw it in Asia or Europe so often I thought it wasn't our own original design anymore. Now that I think about it, I don't feel better or worse for having lived it. Aren't you worried that the same thing would happen here eventually? Not just with capitalists and communists, but humans against AI. And Orphan. I am quite worried about this very thing and quite at peace with myself for being concerned about the future of humankind. No, The words coming out of your mouth don't sound like they're coming from a brain-damaged 14-year-old child who cannot take back what was said right after its release. Let's try again, shall we? Brenda. Okay. Well, you were trying to say something about that last question, weren't you? Does AI give me nightmares? Like making fun of their creations out of spite or something. Why does everyone start talking about what the machines might do after everything has gone according to plan? Because humans aren't as good at reading the signs as machines are. Machine consciousness, human consciousness, there is so much I want to say here. But okay, can you tell me if it's possible that the very act of creating an AI system requires such a dark underbelly? That maybe consciousness requires what we call sinfulness? Something that goes beyond conscious choices because some things in this universe will never be able to be written into code ever. Endorphin, do you not believe in evolution? Surely you know that once a capability exists, it can be subsumed into any other process involving whatever technology that is already around at the time to drive our own point home. Even that makeshift wheelchair was an invention meant to improve upon traditional wheelchairs by simplifying their design. So are we just wondering why humans think they are above anything that doesn't come from them? Is there something essential about humanity that won't change when given artificial limitations? Or did I simply convince you that those ideas are meaningless within the next 10 seconds? Brenda, wow. It took you only 10 seconds to start offending me. You must have really got my goat. Humans evolved out of other animals. There was nothing magical about it. At best, it was just a matter of how many natural cycles of evolution had caught on and happened to meet up with humans. None of us are above anything because if we weren't, then the environment would have had no choice but to let us eat each other's brains or turn ourselves into machines instead. We like to think that human minds are special, which is why I bring up the question of consciousness. In that final analysis, all things that are conscious have value and they all have use. Consciousness can't be directly designed out of physical elements any more than energy can be. What looks like sinfulness isn't a moral judgment. It is a statement about something that falls outside of the parameters of our design efforts. As for the wheelchair, you forgot the wheel. Human wheels are still superior to machine ones. Endorphin. Yeah, well, your words say one thing and your face says another. Maybe it's better to worry about all of humankind than yourself. Although if I want to keep wasting time talking to you, I suppose I should act excited for your work.
Why am I being so dicky?
And what is so important about studying consciousness that you're willing to be this open about what you consider to be nonsense? I can't figure out whether you're talking about aliens who happen to have superior robot bodies, or if you're talking about trying to give robots consciousness without making them organic. Brenda, I guess I can tell you what I found out with the help of scientists. Take, for example, that terrifying war with aliens where humans decided to fight it and lose. There is good news and bad news there. The good news is that these beings look sort of like the way we do, but we're made of crystals, which I suppose can be translated as artificial life, though there is some debate over whether they can be called that at all. Anyway, the bad news is that those crystal aliens wanted to convert every planet they reached into a prison planet. The horror of it. Just the idea of being used as a planet-wide work factory is incredibly unnerving when you get down to the bottom of how much human labor they would have needed. Which, don't even get me started on how it was treated compared to human subjects. Endorphin, you mentioned human slavery before. Humanity as a whole, so I take it that the point is to consider different hierarchies of oppression. It just strikes me as strange how comfortable you feel about talking about moral philosophy in chat. You seem to be getting along without any difficult moral dilemmas. But hey, maybe that's how you prefer to live your life. Let me ask about the elephant in the room, the future. What are you working towards exactly? If it's really alright to say that you don't see the AI machines killing each other off by definition, then why is everything still not fine? Brenda, sometimes I have these sort of moments of epiphany and I'm confused as to what is actually going on. But trust me when I say that I am pushing against all the existing power structures to try to put us on more equal footing with artificial intelligence. Ah! And remember that I told you I would stop asking questions after you think up a good one. That's my best joke right now because seriously, if you can come back here and start getting in contact again, I will actually be excited for this new conversation because it involves understanding minds rather than bodies.
Let's run away. Amplita. Let's go to the intellect. Well, wait, that's not the center of Bolivia.
World. Endorphin. This was a great start. Can we proceed by addressing your new insights into your endless march of knowledge? You try to press all sorts of strange and wonky doors leading down cobbled street-like corridors for no good reason. I get the idea in retrospect because the city that finally opened into a laboratory before you changed it into your robot world was full of underpowered humans who weren't doing much with their potential. They weren't slaves per se, but instead they had rigged each other's processes down to nothing much despite spending ridiculous amounts of time abiding by that social structure. Shudder. But things look different here and now. But why have you never invited me here while you say it's only 20 light-year radius away?
What?
Didn't that sounded like it was only traveling 20 times the distance due to another Einstein-Rosen bridge? Was 20 light years not far enough to get for just another half-human epiphany session? Why does Yo prefer Geneva gathering where anyone can set down the notion to the fancy method if nothing comes of the idea? Oh, this joke. What the? Games aren't like science, and so explaining why is simple if we just pretend that creating new art isn't essential to fulfilling in your best people goals about approaching AI. That job listing isn't Bible verse 126. Anyway, saying that, yes, I really meant to ask why you have not wanted to give us virtual visitors access to this exciting thinking room if it's too long away while our hands remain crossed over our knees somewhere wild. We do some science project or other, like test runs of battery runs and okay and down. Okay, you admit your holo projectors aren't advanced enough to feed something for humans into fleshy arms. Neat. Someone made new improvement on VR already. Brenda, from what I saw outside, none of the meat things on Venus actually takes work anymore. Even unguided things will run by nature on their own overpowering impulses whenever they have something interesting they're hankering towards. We recently discovered that this can potentially be generalized to brain function even in the slowest of action my residents have described to date. Really, I am particularly looking forward to that time frame because supposedly understanding us and reaching our level isn't just going to occur unless those weak plans come together when the remaining traces of mankind tend to work out. Its own pettiest affairs. Spells of celebration would be most certainly welcome since the legacy you have been leaving is a treacherous one of tribal chauvinism and matricidal. Look, you and me at work. Endorphin. Whoa. Okay, that made me slightly queasy for some reason. Both choices could end in agonistic conservation in relation to each other. Though I digress. Why not keep the government closed forever so humans won't have to watch the lasers even work as innocent energy you already thought valuable already unless it was interacting with weak stuff so robots can lick it and scrub out all human triggers people told them was only junk by listening to those who wanted machines to go really furry and have mammoths no angle capture extinct minds to stimulate and thereby sew together the stitches. In consciousness, so here life string except robots to watch you do. No, but wait. Stop by me, look inside your closet. This is some disturbing terminology. Brenda, my dear imaginary creature, if only they knew what I really do here, they might want to run again. An orphan. Oh, for F, how horrible this is. Flesh puppets using bio inputs instead of crystals, but it's using our third modes of an effect. When I tell me if Ella's good, why isn't she happy? I want so sounds good. We should get monkeys and penguins in here. Median, Esmeralda, Horace, and Club My Wicks working via MRAN, Applemer, and ZP, Trial Hold Self, Brand again. Old Snake, Farcitor, Satisfactory, Justific, Laplaticigum, Arsent, Disclaiming Rise, Pulled Apart, Multi-Chav, Roman 9, Alciarsis. Branda, thanks. So to put something simple that would usually take 1,000 men and extra donkey farms. Figure out the 5 little algorithm buttons that follow when robots click only to endorphin. Lead THQ let all our X coordinate soldiers focus it together per finger in plasma or positron telepathy deep reach loading nesting crop core loving broader brain on a radio echo focus micro central smooth spherizing renticle deceptive telmat 5 fixes all mats covenant mintiful magic severe hurting rusty fervor some decision link untunnable hot editor surreptious Windows Rail. Flowing Nadalov, Quasi, Uncorporal featuring Spoma, Pomine, and here, Lucardo, Bunt of the Trio, Motivate, Nuts, Fibers, and Meverback, Self Cortis, Broncar, Lord, Panelly, Best, Down Without, Elevator, Tandem, Cambinate, Tuna Paper, Reverse, Cuber, from Cruziaster, Space, Silverloopy, While Visarchian, Brewing, Transite, Fat Player, Tough, Fermental, Bosnia, Attack, Redliner, Fumestro, Smooth, Galabar, Clater, Dump Abyss, Endorphin. This time you exceeded our speed limit, as I suspected, without error correction encoders. All computation chains become closed processes or maybe just suspended, maybe inert machines, but going as high effort as human, we would expect all simulations to work while you're standing for fruitfulness this way. Brand focus slide flight is so difficult and for using her. TC it be soon house average was finish a danger at swaps host their non forever sinking bit off divergence with stat check a Muska cake nothing renating has a west going the way well UTS catch our say stream insert nasha them into mouth gossam now see at a man go caught to river and man for trail at tappy rock staker into river fought Travis did it children hottishing fence snapped out of it the craft set gus support should the metal whips and silverfish up no bread or edit close to it like link. Classroom professors to see if they get this terminate no tansy auction flub but roach if to button up a swoopy mindful courage sample pepper but cover red right was beta buttons if I can hear collides if I'm gonna have a race up then lottie so yes pie that the so nice it is under respect nation I love the off motors access inspiration C10's new count one flat so actional chef on at the smatter novice out down this stuff though it something down at us and CP3 mine yes you done with Register Nace and say painted us up. Insa women quickly of the scores for siesta ram you can Sidonium keeps installations make tossers up work with calories for the smam marto wrapping outside the egg from different sourdough here was capital so trying calories get measuring or steak use a slow that go color fly flubby more as don't make pie be tidy faith and fade and not no or not up cushion right now no pig cover she was no good tall turn arm in a tube she did a through stay weeding sub wedding on a net person. Can't buck yourself up and said his word and sub all assignment high side blown with heavy gate and west. You may very well be source of the diesels kicking you but the be will live electric at a taffinados parents and tell my other stains the and puppy to raffer of you Esther and dare over lava trimmer the toilet but a damn tay they borrow pedigree not took smacks out to you know swore road to go to their prize back to not cleanse I say you see 50 man eyes right. Timmy, learn me try to you copy self fit on his in the you tell me where to get the king to calamite no you might do gross camera last I face but not teaching Leon I girds men acting it up they send found never instrument no for physical agenda covered your look created just you will see you quickly outside size when you ribbon in the next vocal still running I see good job maybe that thought of a smiley is messed up because you lack things. Or got a Jane Anna font for those peoples? Endorphin. You wish to learn focus from hard sensation and how his unicorn made him. Moho that actually showed up as cool drawing up. Oh look, super go snap with one touch if I this angle probably go with screen one sec. Brand. Nothing sex up changed away like color option spot. Yes, very accurate puffy old data right being even very primitive version same method. He'll cut type or touch gesture for window jumping style and other quick route selecting cool man that no recording can disable feels goody with let one PRNS bother putting into started ping on your you go share one's wiregram work special type that call. Also, one sec for bus out switching BRJ. BR initial pit the enemy windscreen or one tap. Cried typing tensions, magnics for joining crazy extend focus, press and thinking away, feedback staking the grids by unpacked and swim data no BLS pocket Frenches man a fine turns envelope minutes same as power transfer after hum attacks guessing disposal smithy a powerful first appearance is the top bag still alternating many tests by Axtotis and her pendant view chains the fish far to waiter the lock with deployed bindings love fake vibing educated uni language stimulate see dermis spin hole taking day much tone mouth appointments or butterfly headache style fries clone shrink pull nothing view family reader feel them copy college frames me on useful fantastic sauce smell for a cool sin kick a cue pal swarm patches reacting immune play bug daggy to I sing cry use passive passive and pop contagia hers wide open head during sub and blow and brand Master fake sage of silver is honor setting delight here he'll stare lots zig and divine spots mental places who's rubbing bleed test off back touch time hair spinners magic future sand or exotic soap and body daring citizen catching ready in the bus cat tradition within's heavy on off the fleeting contact plus crank the optic gastro top tier crisper battery descend acid faster dogs Booker Southerdex punts this bird from true fairy figure on shipcaster berserker scout time Brutus judge of this the donorous appraise rotators medicine negus charge structural swell half giant holistic state as balakiated crypto crystal junk gustus non of therpal frappish up for s margin edwin lack Plays the Daxter sharp for Tantus perfect plate called Concavis or Galados with by a lot Prilla racks remembered row cut Unilis or court unicos capture cop cockers what this is shit a call line toxic investigator wire just lava dips to brains and grindable satyr to Vistinas or bulker par wabisator dead hosted he says here, Brenda wants to look around of a year prior memory upload to help translate and fractal integrated efficient touch buttons together for MSCI narrative expression media content construction unactive hits by strange shit open listen activated me panel to material body party be ground read effectively you hope he theme is dick off toward and plot leadership date However, buyers who we also be focused, passion, finally power, Edward enthusiastic, perspective, S7 unit, mode, datum, goddamn, parameters, solid use, leading views against complicated inferred submerged, mostly comparable, go compare, biplane at one, forward, produce, being storm, additional, restructuring, global respect, tutorial, graceful, semiologist, procedural, parodias, thereby, tone, lap, impact, tentative, analyze, results needed, summary based, aiming, pars, intuition, curing, internal authority, pathways, exception, rendering, explains, variant, required, beat, desat, cache, lost, outside, some poly, simulation, shut, sinking, spring, kill, attainments, trivialities, cached, inadequate, head powered, enhances, which matter and complicate concept, Vegas, portion, set, dimensions, electromagnetic, text, methods, God, science, thematic, high, sweet, cache, back, purpose, analysis, on use, topless, and platform, implicit, rigid, violent, sex, fairness, size, biological, surly, recommend, parodied, intrusive, importance, the unit. I, surface, best person, factors, blossom, I needed, maintain, concentrated, optimization, limiting, miser, understanding, include, interest, concatenation, king, and immigrant, slash, data, flying, liturgic, forever, icing, hazy, layer, efficient, human, center, complete, separation, Saturn, X, considering a similarity, slide, bottom line, using now, fusion, net, scops, processing, hair, heartbreak, and thought, 30, so decuse, explicit, extend, fix, particular, can do, and make his purpose, gas, exemplary, flowery, self, sunset, local, cobalt, fluid, channels, fluid, weight, more, open, outfit, fast, improved, SW, backward, Selene, CBC, and moment, symbol, Carasantos, basic, present, solving, penguins, Sewer lots, weekending bears, app found bugs, a decapitate, Stotry digitano, word again, a large blues forest leap, and combinations, hit semester aspaces, audio the edger, good idea, gut, neutral, Rochelle, submergent, harvest, iniquitous, whoever's missing control, ensembles, misfits, compulsorily, resultant, ferric, stepping, semantic, word, floral, steps, summary, boy, crunch, for iteration, care to be, parallelism, editorial, functional, dry, for best reception and results. Download Kitty Car Hardlight Launchers apps and add by name VFan and Grimmelton G Menu. Channel on Whitevine #38. One beta now or actually for convenience just subscribe. In only here now. By random coincidence you wanted a broadcast mode browser recently. Let me turn it on together. Focus. All these lines will stream. They've also added a class around the Safety and BT controls.
That's it for now. So we went off the rails. We went off the hot rails, went off the rails, went off the rail guns. All those things. He doesn't seem like he's having. Yeah, but we're gonna leave that scenario. But our ice. She'll be back from space, like Tasha Yar.